Hey everybody, I am AR Mar, and what I watched today is Book 3, Chapter 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender, The Headband. We start off with Zuko unable to sleep. I mean, after what he heard last episode where it's like, oh, if the Avatar is still alive, then it's all on you. I think anyone would be having trouble sleeping. He goes to this tower, I'm not sure what it is, and, but when a guard sees him, he turns away. He just leaves without completing his objective. We get a lot of little asides from Zuko in this episode, and while they keep them short, this is another one of those episodes where I don't like it because they keep, they keep intercutting the main story with these little bits that are just... It ruins the mood and the pacing for me, and I know that part of the point is to show what's happening with Zuko, because at this point he's as much a main character as Aang and the others. But it's still, I don't know, it feels like these little bits of Zuko get barely any time, barely any development, and while they're really well done, I would have rather had something a little more cohesive, I guess is the word for it. Anyway, we catch up with the Avatar and the gang. They're sneaking in as a cloud. And, when they get to the ground, Sokka gives them this, little comedic lecture about stealth very loudly. Which, isn't exactly the best stealth techniques. There's one part where, they're like, oh, what if... will the birds turn us in? Those are enemy birds! Okay, Sokka, funny line there. I'll give it to you there. They end up stealing clothes off a person's line because, while Sokka wants to hide... Katara and the others make a good point. They're going to do just as well by blending in as they would by hiding. And at least by blending in, they can get out and get intel. That's Sokka's big weakness, after all. He likes to know things, especially when it comes to the military and outwitting his enemies. They buy a little bit of jewelry to help them fit in, and Aang, trying to ape customs from a century ago, well, everyone's looking at him funny, because they're like, why is he saying that? The others are just sort of shrugging for him and being like, sorry, he's a little weird. They go into a restaurant that serves meat, and Aang stays outside because, as we've learned in the past, he is a vegetarian. But because of his clothes, which, he stole from a line, those are a school uniform. Some guards mistake him for a student playing hooky and drag him off to the school. The teacher is really funny in this scene once they get to the school. She just assumes Aang is a student. He latches onto the lie that he's from the colonies. And she's like, well, you have horrible etiquette. What do we call you? He chooses the name Kuzan. And... yeah, all in all, he's just, he decides to stick there for the day. He learns a bit about the Fire Nation. And as he leaves at the end of the day, he's greeted by a female student named Anji. And I like her character design. I like all the Fire Nation kids' designs. They have, their school uniform, but they're all different sizes and shapes. There's no, cloning going on here. All the kids have at least something unique about them to sort of keep them feeling more real and organic. So, again, on the technical side, huge kudos. And, yeah, as Anji, confronts him and goes, it's I thought you were funny earlier, and then... she spotted Momo, and she says, don't worry, I won't tell on you, but you're not supposed to have your monkey at school. And he becomes the target for a bully's jealousy, because, this bully's like, Anji is my girlfriend, and basically just being a bit of a jerk. And Aang manages sort of to, deflect his anger and, weasel out of what it was apparently going to be a bit of a beating, according to some of the other kids. And the look on Aang's face when the other kids ask him if he wants to go play hide-and-go explode. Ever since the series started, he's had so few opportunities to just be a kid. And that's what he probably misses most, or at least what he seems to miss most about his old life. Just that chance to play and be a kid. And, have friends. So, I love the look on his face when he gets invited to play a game. And then when he arrives back at the cave later, all singed and... and with a huge grin on his face. You can totally tell that he had a great day. And, Sokka and everyone else, is like, no, you can't go back. You're gonna get caught. But Aang makes a great point. Not only is he having fun, but there's no better way to learn about the enemy than in their own school system. And, it's just a great little moment, and it's kind of fun to see Aang, getting to be a kid again, getting to be a bit more free and just making friends. Like, you know, no big battles, no huge, like, bending thing, just Aang being himself and bringing a very human element to this world. And then, like, you know, it turns out the tower from earlier is a prison, and Zuko visits Iroh in secret there. Iroh is refusing to talk to him, and the scene is mostly just Zuko trying to convince himself that he was right for what he did in Ba Sing Se. Then we go back to the Avatar getting around the campfire, and Aang, like, is still trying to convince him, you know, he has to stay in the school. Sokka is, like, you know, vehemently against it. Like, just totally and vehemently, like, nope, 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 no, bad idea. But then Aang raises a good point. Oh, well, you know, we're about to learn about a secret river that would have that would bring us straight to the Fire Lord, but I guess I won't go tomorrow. And Sokka's like, ooh, intel? Intel? Okay, I guess you can go one more day. Like, I do like that, you know, Aang is finding reasons other than I just want to go to the school. Like, yeah, he's getting something out of it for himself, but he is still somewhat on mission. After this little scene in the cave, we go back to super happy prison fun time with Zuko and Iroh. And, you know, Iroh continues to say nothing, and Zuko is still trying to convince himself and possibly Iroh that he was right to do what he did in Ba Sing Se. But the more he does it, the less you, like, get the less conviction there is in Zuko's voice. The more you can hear him doubting himself, and I love that touch. Then we go back to class time, and Aang starts creating friction. I mean, he doesn't know the firebender culture, so, like, you know, he doesn't know the national oath, he doesn't know their version of history, but we also, in this scene, learn just how much of Fire Nation history is propaganda. They mention, like, an Air Nation army, when, you know, Aang knows for a fact the Air Nomads had no army. It's just propaganda to make the Fire Nation sound better. You know, what sounds better? We took on their glorious army and came out victorious as the underdogs? Or we ambushed a peaceful nation that had no army when they weren't expecting it and slaughtered them all? Obviously, you know, glorious battle against an overwhelming enemy force is much more patriotic. So I can definitely see, like, it's fun getting this taste of their propaganda. Of course, like, you know, there's also a music class, and Aang tries to dance with the music, but he's told, you know, it's like, no, you can't do that. You know, we are, I don't know how it's done in the colonies, but here we practice self-control, and we don't dance. If you feel the urge to move so badly, you may march quietly in place as you play, and, like, you know, basically say it's like this is a very rigid culture where, you know, self-expression is kind of discouraged in favor of love for the nation, etc., etc. And, you know, he's kind of like, Aang's just kind of like, I'm having so much trouble with that. I mean, you know, this is Aang. He's all about self-expression and dance and just having fun. After class, Anji compliments his dancing, and of course her bully boyfriend idiot guy attacks Aang for the fact that she seems to like Aang. And, you know, Aang, however, is just neatly sidestepping all of his attacks. The bully ends up defeating himself in the end. Of course, since the bully is the one on the ground, he's even, like, sniveling and acting it up. He's like, for the headmaster, and it's, oh, I hate the guy. What a bloody sleaze. And, yeah. But since he's the one on the ground sniveling, Aang is the one that gets in trouble. It feels a little squicky to me in the next scene because Katara and Sokka pretend to be Aang's parents for the parent-teacher conference to decide Aang's punishment. And it's mostly just a comedy scene, and it really just ends with the headmaster being like, if he causes trouble one more time, he's out. And Sokka being the fake dad being like, ha, don't worry, I will totally punish him. He will not cause trouble again, etc. And it's just, I don't know. I didn't really like the scene, and it just felt kind of weird having Sokka and Katara pretend to be Aang's parents. Like, I know Toph couldn't really have done it being blind, but it's still, yeah. Anyway, we didn't get a Zuko and Mei scene that I actually liked, which was kind of funny because it had like some great lines in it. What was it? Orange is such an awful color. You're so beautiful when you hate the world. I don't hate you. Apparently that's their version of I love you. But it is hilarious, partly because when Azula wants to talk to Zuko, he's making out with May and just being like, I'm busy. And it is just a hilarious little scene because it's, it's Zuko trying to settle into his life again and not really wanting to acknowledge that what he's been doing every night. And then, Sokka panics after the parent-teacher conference and convinces him to let him stay in the school because he says outright he's enjoying feeling like a normal kid for once. And then, he declares he's going to hold a dance party for the Fire Nation kids. Which is a great, it's a great scene. Aang is a great dancer. He shows them some old moves. And they even have some kids from the band class playing music. It's great. The kids at first, they're totally afraid to, get on the dance floor. They don't know how to dance. They've never really been encouraged to express themselves. So, of course, they're hesitant. I mean, heck, they're like any junior high dance you've seen, where at the beginning, especially if it's a kid's first dance, there's, the girls are on one side, the boys are on another, everyone's just sort of standing there awkwardly, some are maybe slightly swaying, but nobody really wants to get out there and put themselves out there. They're too afraid. Of course, Aang's dancing in the middle there is starting to, coax them out, but it doesn't start that fast. And then we go for one more round of Zuko visiting Iroh in the prison, and he's getting more desperate as he tries to convince both himself and Iroh that what he did was right. You can hear it in Zuko's voice. He's just going no, Uncle, you don't understand. I had to do it. Wow, I really feel for Zuko in this situation. I get that he feels like he backed himself into a corner. He thought that everything would be perfect if he did that, but nothing's going right. The Avatar is probably alive. His sister is going to get him killed again anyway. This is just a temporary reprieve for him, and Zuko knows it, so he's panicking. And then we go right back to the dance party. Super happy dance time! Okay, Aang pulls Anji onto the dance floor as part of trying to get the others to dance, and Katara, she seems to be getting a little jealous, which is kind of funny, because, But yeah, it's she's getting jealous and Anji seems to be having fun. Aang does invite Katara onto the dance floor once more kids join the dance. And, Katara hesitates at first. She makes all the different, excuses. Oh, my hair is not that great. These shoes aren't good for dancing. I don't know what to do. But she gives in and joins him when he reaches out and says, take my hand. He pulls her onto the floor, and then after whispering something in her ear, they do, a fight bend dance thing where they're basically using fight moves and bending moves to do a tango style dance, and it is beautiful. The way they're moving, the way they move together, it all works amazingly well. Unfortunately, right as they finish their dance, we find out the bully from earlier ratted out the dance party. That little weasel. And the other kids help Aang escape in an I am Spartacus moment that is just hilarious, because the headmaster's grab the kid to the headband. And then, almost every kid in the dance has a headband on suddenly, so him and the other guards are is that him? Nope. Is that him? Nope. Is that him? No. And of course, Aang and company have already escaped out the back. And then the episode ends with Zuko hiring an assassin to find Aang and ensure he is dead. Properly this time. And that's where we ended the episode. All in all, even though I have problems with those little aside scenes being interjected in, it's still a great episode, and I had a lot of fun watching it. I feel a little bad for Anji, because, looked like she was getting a bit of a crush on Aang during the episode, but it's clear he's with Katara. I just really hope she doesn't stay with that jerk, because, well, he is a jerk. He's a bully and a bit of a dick. All in all, though, it's good that these kids got a taste for freedom and that Aang was able to help them. I hope that comes back into play later. And in the meantime, I am ARMR, and thank you for watching.